What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Moda J and we are locked in. This is Ready to Love episode 8. Last week we seen the women, they got to invite one or two of the guys that they were interested in to have them come and meet their friends. Now, we did have a big, there was a big discussion about Dabrina and how she kind of set our boy Sean up. He didn't stand a chance when he went in there. He was not treated the same way Walter was. Sometimes it's like that. Me, I look at it as Dabrina was using this as a way to go ahead and eliminate Sean. But that's neither here or there. New week, new episode. Before we get into it though, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you'll be a part of it. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button. It's the easiest thing you can do. Moving forward, this week we get to see some of the gentlemen introducing the women to somebody in their lives. So let's jump into it. This is Ready to Love episode 8. We know Tommy has been throwing a lot of curveballs with Ready to Love. Now this week, the gentlemen are in charge. He has all of them in the man cave. What he wants them to do is bring in some reinforcements. So he wants the ladies to actually meet the gentlemen's exes. Now, most of my exes are usually in a different state because I move around a lot. So in this case, I would hit up one of my homegirls. Hey, I need you to be on this show. Act like my ex. What I don't think is fair is the gentlemen have to introduce their exes while all they got to meet was friends. That's because men are going to tell men the truth about what's going on. And, that isn't fair. It is what it is. Hopefully, these gentlemen can handle that. First up, we have Cornelius, and he has his ex, and her name is Tanika. My sister's name is Tanika. She's the one that passed when I went back home. RIP to my sister Nina. We love you. Now, his ex is saying she wants the best for Cornelius, and she's going to actually help him make this decision. That's a good ex. One of my exes, we cool. We can talk, I don't really talk to her too much about the men she's dating because personally, I don't care. So if I had to come on this show as an ex to one of my women, it is what it is. I'm just going to tell them all the stuff that I noticed. Now, Tanika's case, she's going to actually look out for Cornelius. Now, she's going to have a tough time because we know how Camille can get. So I really want to see how these two interact with each other if Cornelius brings Camille over. Camille comes over, and I like how Camille's answering these questions. Now, Tanika's asking her, how is your walk? Are you going to be able to go through the celibacy? And are you really looking for something? And she's like, yeah, I could do that if that's the path we have to take. I'm like, okay, look at Camille. You know what I'm saying? She's maturing on us right in front of our eyes. She's still a little animated. Then she starts to mention how she already has a kid. She was engaged. She was actually engaged a couple of times, but she feels like she was young. Let's go ahead and dispel this. She's 42. So unless she got engaged at let's say 18 to 21, after that, 18, I even say 18 to 23, you're young. But at 24, 25, after you get past that, we are not young anymore. We are adults. You are old enough to make the decision to do something. So men and women. Oh, I was young. No, I got married at 28. I can't say, oh man, I was young. Yeah, I was younger than I am today, but I wasn't young, But Camille, for the most part, she's answering these questions. Now, I give Camille credit. She answered these questions. I was like, okay, she's better. I gave her a hard time in a couple of other episodes. The only thing I have to disagree with her with is when she's talking about she doesn't see herself being engaged 3 times as a red flag. Your own friend, he told us that you are a runaway bride. And she says if she was to get married with Cornelius, that would be that's it. How can we even believe that? If your track record says you get to the altar and you dip, we don't even know how you are in a marriage. Oh well, we'll see. This is up for Cornelius to decide. Now, Tanika is a nice woman. I like how she's acting, and she seems like she's genuinely a friend of Cornelius, and that's all it is a friendship between these two. Now, Camille, she's leaving. She's saying, when's she going to leave? She going to get out of here? Hey, Camille, calm down. They're just friends. And she says exactly what I say. I'm not really knocking somebody from being in a relationship. We all had a past in relationships, but engagement 3 times? Yeah. Nah. Nope. Next up, we have Mr. Phil and his ex. I think her name is Dabrina. Hey, Phil, hit my DM up, send her contact information, set that up for me because, hey, one man's ex is another man's treasure. Hey, call me. Now, what do we know about Phil? Phil, he went on a lot of dates. Ladies love Phil. Hey, now he has Shiloh and Tasia. He has two women meeting his ex. This is kind of unfair, but what do we know about Phil? He can handle himself under pressure. Tasia, she's kind of saying, I was the third seat away from him. You got his ex next to her. You got Shiloh next to him. And then you got Tasia. So now let's see how she can get through this, navigate through the waters. Tasia is really upset with this. She's right, though. It should have been Phil in the middle, the two on the side, and then had Dabrina across questioning them so they could sit next to Phil. Hey, it is what it is. We all complained about how Sean was ambushed last week. It's part of the game. Now, she's asking the ladies, what are some of the things? And to see it, she's explaining, saying, I'm kind of standoffish, saying I'm an earth sign. I think she said she was, but she's really voicing her opinion. We all see Tasia's, saying, Phil said it. This isn't my words, Tasia. You're lacking that confidence that we normally see. You should be there. You should enjoy the time and make the best of the situation. I know it isn't ideal to be on the other side. It's just the way it is. Life isn't fair. You just have to adjust accordingly and make it happen. But she's saying, she's kind of getting aggressive. People don't like hearing aggressive or a little attitude. But she is giving one to Dabrina. She's just asking you questions. She's like, I don't want to talk to no ex. I don't want to be here, be no friends. Like, hey, just be cordial. You can, I don't know. Yeah, it is what it is, man. Phil, I like the way you think. Now, Dabrina, I told you guys, if I was going to be in this situation, I would have brought an ex or a homegirl that was going to stand up for me and ask the question about these women. Now, they asked Dabrina, what is something that Phil lacks? Communication. And he's like, man, you supposed to be here grilling them and getting the questions because you supposed to be on my side helping me out. Nah. That's why you got to be prepared. See, I already knew what was going to go on here. And I would have already, I would have called my homegirl Caleb. Hey, I need you to come through. You know what I'm saying? Ask the questions. Matter of fact, here go a list of things I need you to ask these women because I want to know. Dang. Next up is Mr. Phil, and his ex is a white woman by the name of Leah. And what does he tell her? Hopefully you can speak me up and not throw me under the bus. You got to be prepared for this, people. When you come here, just like how Sabrina told all her friends all the negative things about Sean, and that's what they poked at. You supposed to have your ex ask the questions that you want to know. We gonna see. The ladies that come for Phil is Mumin, very attractive woman. Sydney, another attractive woman. I got both of them over Leah. Now let's just get that out of the way now. And it's time to get into these questions. Now, the ladies, they show Sydney's phone. I'm talking about it's a laundry list of questions that they want to ask. See, what I would have done is take control of the situation and said, ladies, we're here asking the questions. You're meeting my ex. We're going to ask the questions and then we'll let you guys get some questions in the end. Now, they ask about his communication. They say, Frank, 2 stars in text messages, 5 in person. And Mumin's like, wait. What kind of woman is he after? Like, okay, they asking the good questions. But you only get one, ladies. The rest are on us. They started asking questions about children, and I like both of the women's answers. Sydney says she would like 1 more if possible, and Mumin saying at this point, if we plan to have some, good, let's go ahead and do that. So both of these answers are very good. You look at Frank, he's like, man, that's actually a good answer. And you look at Mumin like, I like me some chocolate too. Overall, I think this little date interview between Mumin and Sydney did pretty good for him. Now, Frank has to decide. Both of these women have good qualities, and it's going to be a tough decision because me personally, either one of them, I'd take either one of them, man. I'm not even going to beat around the bush with you. Both are attractive women. And so far throughout the season, I haven't seen anything that I could be like, nah, I'm good on that. So Frank, good luck, brother. Next up is Mr. Walter, and he brings out Denise. This is his ex, and I was surprised at who his ex was. She came out with these long ass nails. I automatically would have been like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and invite somebody else because this is given what is given, and I don't think this is something that I could really see Walter with, unless this is an ex from years ago. I just don't see my man Walter dating Denise as currently. No disrespect to Denise. I'm just stating my opinion. Next up is Mr. Dante, and he has Zadia come and meeting his ex Stacy. Now this is going to be interesting. I want to see this because I haven't really heard a lot from Zadia, and other than when they had the little disagreement at the table last week, I haven't really heard much about her. I know we've seen her on a few dates, but I want to know a little bit more about her. So hopefully we can get some good questions for her. Now, I may have been right. I told you guys I probably wouldn't have brought an ex. I would have brought a homegirl. And like I said, Walter dated this. They dated years ago. Now, Sabrina sits down and she's like, yeah, you definitely fit his type, you know. So that's what I'm thinking. You know, these two, they're opposites. So this may just be Walter's homegirl and he just playing the game, finessing it, you know. Someone that knows Walter, you done hung out with, you know, saying y'all around each other, maybe went to school. She's going to look out for your best interest. Walter, you're a slick man if that's what you did. Sabrina, she said, I'm definitely a challenge. Then Denise wants to know, are you crazy at all? She's like, nah, I'm not crazy at all. Last week we seen her when Sean was in there describing her. She's doing all that. So I don't know. I wouldn't consider that crazy. But, you know what I'm saying? That's something you gotta watch for. I like Zadia. I'm listening to her talk. And so she's sitting down with Dante and his ex. Shiloh comes in and she sits down over by him. And she's like, am I the only one that didn't know this was going on? It's the same thing with Tasia. She's not showing it as much as Tasia was. She's just getting another drink. She's gonna go with the flow because you still gotta participate at least. She's like, it's gonna be a tough one here, but another round, please. When I'm right, I'm right. And what Sabrina did last week to Shine isn't fair. He didn't stand a chance. This week, Walter's ex asked Sabrina, what do you want to know about Walter? Oh, I don't need to ask anybody. If I'm gonna ask Walter something, I know he's gonna tell me. She didn't get that same courtesy to Shine. She set Shine up last week. We see straight through this. This is who you are, Sabrina. You didn't ask Sean any of these questions. You told all your friends to poke at him and ask all these questions. Now you don't want to answer questions. Oh man, this is a good one here. Now Moomin shows up, and as soon as he gets here, Sabrina's looking, and she comes up with some, oh, I got a styling appointment. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. You don't want that competition. You didn't want to answer no questions because the truth about you would come out. When I tell you guys, certain people do things and you look at their character and it's okay, what are you hiding? You don't want to answer any questions, but you want all the questions answered for you. Moomin, I'm glad you showed up. Walter, entertain her and let's see where this goes. All right, Dante, you skating through it. Your ex is actually answering these questions perfectly. They ask, where do you see Dante and would you date him? And she's saying since Dante's moved to DC, he's grown. He's became a better man. And then they ask, of course, would you date him now? She's saying yes. After seeing where he progressed from, she would definitely not be an ex no more. She would be Dante's new boo. So all the women are looking, okay, he may have did some things wrong, but if she talking about she'll get back with him, let me go ahead and snag him up. And Dante over there like, yeah, y'all hear that? Y'all hear it? We know Moomin wants to have kids. She does say she doesn't want to have sex until she's married. And I just figure at this age, I mean, that's a personal decision. I definitely respect it. But as a man, you know, I'm not coming home to somebody every day and I can't get no sex. That's just me personally. Like I said, I respect any woman or man that does that. It's just me personally at this age, somebody else done got some sex about it. Yeah, I can't get no sex. And it is what it is. But they said they've talked about it. So if Walter's with it, then hey, more power to you, brother. Good luck to you too. Next up is Mr. Naim. He brings his ex on and we're going to get some questions into Zadia. Now, she's actually getting a chance to be out here one-on-one with somebody and this might be a little bit better for her. His ex has called him out. She says, so what is your love language? She's like, oh, physical touch. She said, oh, well, that ain't his. He don't like to cuddle. Like, dang, hey, shh. Don't tell nobody that. I like to cuddle until it gets too hot. And then I'm like, all right, we gotta let me cool off a little bit. Take this blanket off. Y'all know what I'm talking about. She also mentions that there may be a little over guardedness where he's protecting himself. Guardedness. He may be over guarding himself where he's protecting himself and not really opening up because he doesn't want, you know, for there to be a chance for somebody to let him down. And he's like, you know what? Let's take a toast to open up more. Next up is Phil and Miss Sydney. Now, Sydney said when she first showed up, she seen Phil from across the room where they were outside. And she said, who is this handsome man and why hasn't he came over here? See, fellas, you got to play the room. You can't do like our old friend did, Corey, and just go over there and introduce yourself to everybody. Make them wonder a little bit. So their date, they're not meeting any exes, but they are working out. They get to talking, little jokes here. Where you from? Oh, I'm from here. I'm gonna do this. Now let's get into the real stuff. All that little fun and games. They start talking about kids. Neither one of them have kids. We know that Sydney mentioned that she want to have kids if God allows her to. Now, Phil, on the other hand, he doesn't have kids. He does have kids in his life that he, helps take care of, watches them. But the good thing is you can give them back to their parents. That's how it was with my nephews. I ain't had kids. I would watch them for my sister. And then, hey, Tanika, you need to come pick these boys up. It's that time. Back to the man cave. We get to talk to Tommy. Tell him how all of our little dates went with our exes. And we also got to pick the 2 ladies that are going to be on the chopping block this evening. We hear the men, Sabrina, Muming, Sydney, Shiloh. So they're saying that some of these girls are good. Some of them, that they're feeling a little bit more. In Walter's case, he's saying Muming and Sabrina, they're 1A, 1B. Now, Frank, he starts to talk about how Naim is seeing Zadia. He's going in there kind of blinded. His ex actually told him, hey, there are some things you need to look at. But Naim, he's comfortable where he's at. Now we get to Cornelius, and we know that him and Camille, they've been inseparable for the most part. We know how she feels towards him, and other men have told her, we tried to, get to know you. You just been stuck on Cornelius. Now, Tommy asks, how was the date? And he brings up, she's been in 3 engagements. Is this a cycling pattern? Is this going to happen again? And Cornelius isn't answering it truthfully. I can look at him. He's looking all up in the air. He's like, well, she said 3 engagements. That's better than 3 divorces. Theoretically, yeah. But if she can't even get to a marriage, then why would you want to risk doing that? And at 42, it's going to be, she's just doing it just because she feels like this may be it. That's just my personal opinion on it. Cornelius, you got to be careful going into this though, brother. Now they're going around and they're naming off who they aren't really seeing, as somebody that could potentially stay. They bring up Tasia. They say every time they talk to her, something comes up. Then they start bringing up Camille. And our boy Phil says he argues with her too much. Now, Walter, he says, I'm not going to put her on the list because he knows that'll be pretty much blocking on Cornelius because he put all his eggs in his basket right there. So he even tells Phil, come on, we can't put Camille on there. But if no one's connecting with her, she's going to have to go on the list. We got to have 2 people. The first lady on the chopping block is Tasia, and they actually have Phil coming out to talk to her, and we're going to see if she can make it through the evening. And next up is Sabrina. Frank is actually out here talking to her, and he's saying her vibe is kind of standoffish. You kind of know when you're about to get eliminated or you're in the elimination round. So he said, I'm going to navigate my way through it, and we're going to see if we can get a conversation out of it. What are we seeing about Sabrina? He's out here talking to her. She's like, well, I text you a couple of times. Are you telling me this is the end? Like, hey, just chill. Have a conversation. Everything doesn't have to go your way. And he's saying, we talked several times. She's like, well, that's because I reached out to you. Hey, look, we all have personal lives going on. It's no problem with a woman reaching out to a man. We reach out to you, and then if we overreach out, oh man, he's stalkerish. I don't know. He weird. He hit me up. Like, Sabrina, chill. Oh, Sabrina, it seems like you don't like when the shoe's on your foot. This week is women getting eliminated. None of the men hit me back. No. How did you treat Sean last week? How did you treat Sean last week when it was the men's turn to get eliminated? Now you're seeing how it is. So don't get defensive. Just like Sean, we're not going to step in and intervene for you. If no one contacted you back, then that means no one was interested in you. You said you talked to one gentleman. Well, I hope that bond was strong, but you can't have it your way. I told you guys, and I was right. I have nothing personal against Sabrina. I'm just telling you what I see, and the way she's acting, it just ain't. You can't have everything your way. You can't treat Sean one way, let him get thrown up under the bus, and then when it comes to you, oh, y'all don't need to treat me like this. And look at Frank. He's just sitting there like, continue. Phil and Tasia, they're talking, and he's telling her she's one of the realest people there. She has kept it real. She hasn't hid anything. However she felt is, what she said. Now, before anybody says, oh, it's because they don't like big women, it has nothing to do. No one's ever mentioned anything about her weight or anything. It's just the connection that they had with her. Whenever they did try to talk to her, she would talk about her accomplishments. She wasn't really having any conversation. We even heard in the man cave, when they would hit her up, things would come up. So if she doesn't have the time for them to actually get to know her, then, you know, you're going to have to go home. Now, she says, I guess real doesn't make the cut. Real does make the cut, but also you got to have time for somebody to get to know you. So unfortunately, Tasia has to go home. Sabrina, she gets to stay. Now, he's telling her, this is what we're talking about. You know, you got to have a little more effort. And she's saying, well, you know, I could have did things differently. I could have showed more effort, but they didn't. So I didn't. Sean tried to. Walter, he's trying. Men are trying to. It's just the way that you're treating them. Sometimes it's like, I really don't want to deal with that. It's less stress doing something else. I do feel like she does deserve another chance. We're going to see if she can change things around. We know the women should have the power next week. Now listen to her contradict herself. Right here, she's saying, I should date the women because they would love how I pursue. You just told him in elimination that you weren't going to do anything. You could have did things differently, but you didn't. You weren't pursuing the men like that. Every time you talk, you just contradict yourself. Everything you've been doing is contradiction. Oh man, I could have did more, but I didn't. I should date the women because they would love the way I pursue. You just told us you don't pursue. Which is it? You can't have it your way, Sabrina. That's the end of the episode, people. Let me leave it at that. There you go. Ready to love. Let me know, do you think that they made the right decision about sending Tasia home over Sabrina? Comment below. I'm Mo.J. If you like the content on the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.